All right, 213. Let me bring up the show notes because
Wow, that's weird. We're at episode
What?
213.
I think.
Yeah. What's today's date?
Weird.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even get that till like. Yeah, I have two monitors and it's looking at me in the face on both monitors in the corner. But yeah. All right. Hello, and welcome to episode 213 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm James.
And this week we're going to talk about some like cool cards we've pulled, neat cards from back in the day that we really liked for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And just like kind of odds and ends that the people wanted to hear about.
Yeah, I had maybe just a couple limited things that we didn't touch on last week, now that I've had a little bit of time with the format. And yeah, we had one of our listeners wanted to know some stories about when we were just wee lads.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna give the people what they want.
And I have some I took the iconic pulls from when we were younger to be like not that much younger. So I was thinking of some things that are a little more recently
than we are currently, huh?
Yes. Any time that is not now would be younger. So
I think specifically he was looking for one like way back when, but sure, I mean there's certainly iconic things that have happened since we returned to the game that haven't been that long ago, so. And actually, yes. I guess realistically, that was 5 or 6 years ago now. So yeah, we were younger then.
We were. So, if you want to get at us and give us show ideas or anything, you can get at us on social media. All those links, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, are in the description. So go check those out and come interact with us, please.
Yeah, please do that. If you're looking to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. First is with our TCG player affiliate link, tcg.CasualTryHardMTG.com. Head on over there, purchase any singles that you're looking to purchase, and we'll get credit for whatever you buy. Help support the show that way at no cost to you, just by buying the stuff you normally buy. Our second way is with Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. You can chip a couple bucks in directly to us. We would greatly appreciate it. However much you feel we're worth, we would gladly accept. In return, you get access to our pre-show, which is kind of another hour of us. Not always magic related, but usually there's some magic related stuff in there. You also get access to our show notes, and you get put on my mailing list for when I have cool stuff to send you guys. Next round of give back should be going out in March sometime. So hop on over to patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Sign up, like I said, chip a couple bucks in, and make sure you shoot me your mailing address, and I'll get you added to my list, and you'll get some swag.
Some cool stuff. Yeah. And they're always good.
Yeah, they're usually pretty cool. People seem to really enjoy them. So, on top of that, we want to remind all you guys that we have a YouTube channel, CasualTryHardMTG on YouTube. You can just search us; we'll come up. We're not cool enough to have our own link yet, but if you just search CasualTryHardMTG, we will come up. Bryan's putting out limited content a couple times a week. We were doing like 3 times a week. It might not be 3 times a week all the time, but yeah, we'll see. This limited environment, I don't think is the best, which might make it hard to maintain focus throughout the entire season. And also, you got a whole bunch going on right now, so
I do just a little bit.
Yep. But Bryan does limited content there a couple times a week. I do my Tomfoolery Tuesdays, which lately has been a whole lot of historic brawl. So if you want to see some historic brawl, check me out on Tuesdays. Although I will play other stuff randomly also. So make sure you check that out. And then you can also check out a video version of this episode where you get to watch me and Bryan converse instead of just listen to me and Bryan converse. And that releases alongside the show on Thursdays, so check us out there.
Yeah,
I think that's it for beginning of the show. You ready to get into it?
Let's get into this.
All right, so we'll just knock out this limited stuff real quick, and then we'll get into some stories.
Okay.
We had talked, kind of at length last week about our initial impressions of the limited format, and the deck that I have had the most success with, we didn't talk about at all
Okay, what was that? What is this?
Like some version of red green oil.
Okay.
Right after we finished the show, I fired off undefeated draft with it.
Oh, nice.
Well, I think I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I sent you a
you
screenshot of the undefeated screen and the deck list.
in case I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know if your deck was representative of what the typical red green oil deck is,
Yeah.
because that deck was kind of bonkers.
Oh yeah, that deck was kind of nuts.
uh Tyrannix Tyrannix Rex,
Never
a
cast it.
Luca.
Yeah, the Luca was pretty good. That the big dinosaur I never even drew.
Never
I
cast
don't
it.
think.
Yeah. Like, I think the oil gorger troll is really good.
Yep.
It's the other thing is, like I said, like, if like you've got 6 poison counters, you gaining 3 life doesn't matter.
No,
Right? Like
but it's also like a reasonably sized body that drew you a card.
it is like, but it isn't like it's in a weird spot where like
Yeah.
the I feel like they had to tack the like draw card on it because the gain 3 life
Yeah.
wasn't always good.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's probably one of the weakest cards in that deck, and we can break down the archetype a little bit if you want to.
Sure.
I think I'm like 7 drafts into this format, 7 or 8 drafts in.
Okay, you're actually ahead of me now.
3 of them have been red green oil.
Okay.
The 3 that were red green oil, 2 of them were 7-win drafts. One of them was a 6-win draft. All of the rest of them have been 0 or 1.
Oh, geez.
Yep. So I'm probably not drafting a whole bunch anymore. I don't know if this is like a sneaky good archetype that nobody's drafting.
It could be. Like, red has been pretty open.
Yeah.
So what are your what are the things you're looking for to like get into this archetype?
I've been kind of gravitating towards the payoffs first, kind of like, we were talking about last week with what was it?
Corrupted.
Yeah, with Corrupted. We were drafting the payoffs first and then kind of backdooring into the archetype. I've been kind of doing the same thing.
Okay.
The payoffs aren't like beat you in the face good, but the oil counters are basically free on just about every card. So like the cards do more than you think they do. The guy that gets like +X+O when he attacks, like the 2/3 with trample.
Yeah.
And like the X is equal to the number of permanents you control with oil counters on them.
Is
like
it
that guy's
or
pretty
is
good.
it the Forge Hammer Centurion?
No, that's the one that prevents things from blocking.
Okay.
It's like a Hellion, I think. Cinder Forge Hellion, maybe, is that it?
Okay. This deck has Caldolpha Cackler.
Oh,
Yeah, like look up these
I
cards.
think that's the one. It's like a 3-mana 2/3 with trample, and it gets +X+O when it attacks.
We're just gonna look up text of oil and see what we get here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want those.
Yep.
Like, I think oil might be a little bit easier in terms of like getting the payoffs and then kind of doing the oil stuff.
Yeah.
Where like I think that the toxic stuff, maybe you should get the things that give you poison counters. And then take the cards that are like okay but great when you have toxic.
Yeah.
Or when you have corrupted a little bit later. Yeah, so Caldolpha Cackler, yeah, is the trample get +X+O, where X is the number of permanents with oil counters, yeah.
And then the there's a 4-drop 4/2. It's like Urabrask something or other.
Urabrask Anointer.
Yeah, it like bolts something equal to the number of oil counters like permanents with oil counters on them you have.
Okay, yeah.
That thing's pretty nuts too. But even like just the general oil stuff is good. Like the 5-drop 4/5 that enters with 2 oil counters, and you can remove an oil counter to give something haste.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that thing's a house. I think every time I've resolved one of those, I've won the game.
The Furnace Strider.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess you can give it self haste, right?
Yeah, you give it self haste, and then, you know, whatever random thing in your hand you have left the next turn, like, just kills them.
Fair.
And then, like, some easy ways to get oil counters, the 1-drop with haste.
Mm-hmm. I just saw Exuberant Fuseling.
Well, that one also, but the other one, the Scamp.
Oh man, I'm like trying to go through them and find
Sawblade
them.
Scamp. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets an oil counter. Then you can tap it to ping your opponent. Remove an oil counter.
Oh yeah.
Like, with this deck, you just want to have oil counters on, like, all of your stuff. So, like, even though you may or may not ever use that 1 damage, like, just the fact that it has an oil counter, like, powers up all the rest of your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you can cast Urabrask's Anointer there and, like, kill a blocker and swing, like, that oil counter on the Sawblade Scamp did a whole lot more than the 1 damage.
Fair.
And then, like, you also get to make better use of Red's spells, because there's a couple different cards that, like, care about casting non-creature spells and, like, give you oil counters. So things like Volt Charge, like, that's a reasonable removal spell anyway. And then all your stuff that cares about non-creature spells, like the Scamp, gets an oil counter. And then you get to proliferate, like, all your oil counters.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the other one, what was it?
The Exuberant guy.
Yeah,
Exuberant
the
Fuseling.
Fuseling. That thing's kind of nuts with the combat trick, Red's combat trick.
Mm-hmm.
1 mana +2/+2 and put 2 oil counters on it. Like, that thing just gets huge.
Yes, I have had that happen to me.
Yeah.
Where I was like, holy crap, this was like +4/+2 for 1 mana.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just the red stuff. Like, the green stuff is no joke either. You get to ramp out with the green 1-drop. It's not till turn 3, but you get to ramp out with it.
Restvine Cultivator.
Yeah, the Cultivator. And we talked a little bit about the Troll. And honestly, I think that's one of the weakest cards in the archetype, is that Troll that draws you a card. But, like, being a reasonable sized body that draws you a card is super relevant too.
Agreed.
Honestly, the deck is probably, like, mostly red, and then whatever other color you feel is open, like, to get you the oil counter stuff. Like, you could do black for the Mosquito. Like, that's a reasonable payoff for the oil counters. You could do blue for the 2 mana unblockable guy. Like, that's also a reasonable payoff for
the Ichor Core Synthesizer.
Yeah. I think the green just has, like, more stuff that enters with oil counters. So, like,
yeah,
I've had a little bit more luck with green just because, like, I can fill out the deck with stuff that makes oil counters that way. But I've had a lot of luck with, like, versions of this.
Gotcha. My drafts have all been like, I've done 5.
Yeah.
And my drafts have been like less swingy than yours. Like, I have a 1/3, that was my first draft, and then I've gone 3/3 3 times, and then a 7/2.
Yeah.
So, but I've not I drafted blue-green, like, Proliferate, which was kind of like blue-green oil, but I've not done, like, the red oil thing. So, I mean, like, maybe I should try that.
Probably isn't, like, super your style, so I don't know if it's something that you would have even, like, been on the lookout for that was open, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there have definitely been some drafts where, like, there are 4 red cards at the end of the pack.
Yeah.
Like, multiple times.
Yeah.
So it could just be that I was, like, not prioritizing them.
Yeah. The like, the gold card is really good too, the one that gets cheaper for like your oil cards. Like, that thing's a huge body with vigilance that is usually like 3 or 4 mana.
Yeah, the Cinder Lash something.
Yeah. and then you give it haste with your 5-drop, and like you just crush people.
Kill them. Fair. I did have someone play that 5-drop against me, and I was like, dear God, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, like it dies to nothing. Like it wins most combats and only dies to a handful of conditional removal spells.
Yeah. The blue-green deck I played had Incubation Sac, which I just feels like a little slow, but it can like take over a game if you get to that point.
Yeah, the red version of the sack is also really good in this deck. The Churning Reservoir.
Okay.
It's a 1 mana, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you put an oil counter on another target non-token artifact or creature. So at like every upkeep, it just spreads around oil counters. And
you make 1/1s.
The 1/1s don't even really matter. All that like in this deck, you're like happy just to pay a mana on the first turn to put oil counters on all your stuff every turn.
Gotcha.
Like even stuff that doesn't care about oil, you're happy to have an oil counter on it because like all your garbage cares about the number of things with oil on them.
It is the Churning Reservoir is so weird.
Yeah.
Like you can't make the thing unless you've like lost an oil counter from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like or something has died. It almost feels like the thing is like almost like a red black gold card.
Yeah, kind of.
It just feels weird. But no, I can see that. Like I definitely took a stand one draft and passed an Urabrask's Forge.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not taking this. I'm taking a toxic card.
Yeah.
I think that was either my 3/3 I punted draft or my last one, or the 7/1 one where it's like, I'm just going to do this. My opponent being at 10 makes life easier.
Yeah.
But no, I could definitely see like there has to be something other than like toxic.
Yeah.
And like I think the red green deck is another deck that does not super encourage you to block.
Right.
Which from what I have gathered is not good.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to watch the video, but 17 Lands put out a video about the format Circovitz did. But I was listening to Arena deck list from, I guess it would have been Thursday or Friday. And they were talking about the 17 Lands data. And apparently this format, according to 17 Lands, has the fewest numbers of turns played per game.
I believe it.
Most games are done between turn 7 and 8.
Wow.
And has the biggest delta between play and draw of any format since Arena started.
Holy moly.
If you're on the play, you win 55% of your matches.
Just by being on the play.
Just by being on the play.
Wow.
So we'll see if that changes.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that, like, that's a hard thing to change because, like, it's not like people aren't taking whatever Hex Gold Strike.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Whisper of the Dross. Like, it's not like, no, I don't want these cheap removal spells. It's like, no, we know that the shock that is sometimes also just a terminate is good. So, it's weird. Like, I don't know how you, like, fix that. Like, how you, like, get more mid-rangey. This might just be a format where, like, if you're on the play, your opponent can never block. And, you know, so this oil deck is also very aggressive.
Yeah, it's super aggressive.
Or can be.
I mean, like I said, like that's kind of my jam anyway, and that's probably why like you haven't seen this deck be open.
Yeah, I would like to point out the white combat trick, the +2/+2.
Oh, that's brutal.
And draw a card if the if the creature has toxic. I have second picked that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this card is dumb. I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna take toxic things. Like, and like the crawling chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want as many of these in the stupid combat trick as I can get because I want to play crawling chorus on 1,
Yeah,
and tap it on turn 2. Are you gonna block? Cool, I have a removal spell that cantrips.
yeah.
Are you not? I'm going to get in 1 toxic, and now you have to play the entire game of, oh no, do they have proliferate stuff? I'm now on a clock.
Yep.
And then I play a 2-drop, and you're just like, and the next turn I'm just gonna attack with my 1/1 and like cantripping removal spell, or you're gonna get another poison.
Yeah. The
So I have embraced it a little bit.
okay.
I would much rather I'd much rather it if you were like, yeah, Oil Gorger Troll is the best card in the deck.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, that's the format I want to play.
No.
But if it's Oil Gorger Troll is the worst card in the deck, and 1 mana
is likely closer to the worst card than the best card.
Yeah, and but unfortunately, if you're like, no, the Raging Goblin with upside, that is the best card in the format. Like, okay, I guess I have to play Raging Goblins. Fine.
Like the red, you'd probably be more interested in the red-blue version, and I think that deck's solid too. Like the guy that gets unblockable, that thing will just win a game by itself.
Yeah, I guess it is it is +2/+1. That is a thing.
Yeah, and it gets unblockable.
Yes, say 3/3 unblocked 1. I guess with the experimental augury.
Yeah,
like it just gets 2 counters.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked at my first deck was like blue-green, and it was definitely like because I've started both formats trying to play blue-green. Don't play blue-green, I guess. But like that was more of a slow like set up shop.
Yeah, you can't
deck,
do that.
and like you can't set up shop.
Oh, don't forget about the Ickerplate Golem.
Oh yeah, I had an opponent play one of those. I was like, this is super annoying.
That card is great. It's a 3-mana 2/3, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield with an oil counter, it gets an extra 1, and then like all of your things with oil on them get +1/+1. It's like a super combo trick with Red's combat trick because it's like +3/+3.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, I guess I'm now dead.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Magmatic Sprinter? The 3/2 haste that goes back into your hand if it doesn't have oil counters on it?
I actually like that guy more than the one that gives unblockable. Which one was the one that gives unblockable?
Firehammer Centurion?
Yeah, Forge Hammer, yeah.
Forge Hammer, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Sprinter better because you can like reload your oil stuff. Like if you need to give something haste, you like put the counters on your 5-drop there, your Furnace Strider. If you need to power up your unblockable guy, you power up your unblockable guy. I think he like if all you're doing is putting the oil counters on him to keep him around a turn, he's not worth it.
Yeah,
but he's super useful just to spread the oil around.
Oh, I guess that's right. Like he never gets to stay on the battlefield.
Yeah, like you put the oil counters on something else and then he bounces and you get to reload another thing with oil.
But like if you put the oil counters on him, he's only around for 1 more turn.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then he goes away.
Which I guess is fine if like they die that turn.
Right.
But okay, I had not tried that deck.
Yeah, it's cool. I dig it.
Okay, I'll give that one a look. I kind of want to draft now, but I'm like, no, you have stuff to do. You have to be an adult.
There's one more card that I want to talk about, and I don't think it was something that we talked about last week, and I don't remember if it was something I saw in a post or in a video or whatever. But the Seed Core.
Oh yeah.
Cast like just about every creature in this set.
I had one in a deck. I was playing a 3-color toxic deck. I don't know which 3-color toxic deck. I think it was my second one. And I was just like, oh, like literally all my creatures were Phyrexians.
Yeah, all of the Mirrans are like snap-on equipment. So like every creature in the set is a Phyrexian.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the Seed Core passed to me like 5th pick, 3rd pack. Like nobody wants these things, and I don't know why, because it's just like ancient ziggurat.
Yeah. I don't know, I think people look at it and go like, "Oh, it doesn't cast my spells," but I don't know. And so let me just, uh,
It's an ancient
like,
ziggurat that does cast your spells.
well, it doesn't cast your non-creature spells, right?
Well, I mean,
Right,
it still taps for colorless. It's not just a
it
dead
does.
land.
It does.
But yeah, it doesn't tap for colored.
But like, so just looking at the oil stuff, right? There are, like you said, all of the oil creatures,
yeah,
are Phyrexians.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the creatures that have oil are Phyrexians. Yeah, I guess I don't know what creatures aren't Phyrexians.
Malira, Jor Kadeen.
And that's it. And we're done.
Yeah. Yep. That's all I see so far.
All right, I can.
Everything is Phyrexian. There are no green creatures without Phyrexian.
All right, so I'm gonna look up creatures that are not
Resistance Sky Warden is not Phyrexian.
All right, so let's see here.
Seed of Finisher is not Phyrexian. And like I know it's a rare, so it's not like
you're
super
gonna get it
worth
all the
doing
time.
a deep dive on, but the number of them I've seen like incredibly late where it's just the rainbow land.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 4 creatures that it doesn't cast.
If I could figure out how to use, if I could be smart and figure out how to use Scryfall, I could tell you the exact number, but I have messed it up literally every time I've tried it. I've like clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it now. There are 11 creatures that are not Phyrexian in the set.
Okay.
That
is a small number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are rares.
Yeah.
2 of them are mirrors. Still get to cast that with your land.
Yeah.
And one colorless. Yes, one has affinity, and one has and one's a 5/5 menace reach for 5, which I think is unplayable. So yeah, like 2 cats. So yeah, probably if you are not white, because there are 4 white creatures and 2. Well, I guess all the white creatures are rare except for 1. So there's only 1, 2. Yeah, there are only 5 at common or uncommon.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
draft
the land is just
or not.
Yeah,
pass them all to me, and I will take all of them.
Yeah, I mean, and the upside is fine. Like, oh hey, my 1/1's a 2/3 now, or
I mean,
sorry,
I've been blown out by that.
A 3/2.
That works really good with the Jawbone guy.
Oh yeah, Jawbone guy works real well all the time.
He works well with everything.
I think people have got the memo because you don't see them that often. But Flensing Raptor,
yeah,
that card is great.
Yeah,
it's a wing drake with a paragraph on it, and right, like the best thing you can do is like 2-drop into Flensing Drake.
Yep.
You're just like, oh, I guess you now have a poison counter, and you like took a bunch of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my 7-win deck, I had 2 Dune Movers.
Yeah, you like that guy?
and I cut lands because of it.
Yeah.
So I played 16 lands, and I was like, Dune Mover's my third land. Like, I can
Yeah.
keep 2-land Dune Mover and hit my third land.
I've only had them a couple times. Like I think either one or two drafts I had Dune Movers. I don't know. I wasn't like super impressed, but like my decks haven't been real greedy either. Like my decks have probably been closer to 16 land decks anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But I think that like being a 2-1 is kind of fine in this format.
Well, especially since he has toxic. Like you're willing to play kind of a mediocre 2-drop as long
Toxic
as it has toxic. Yeah.
Because like that guy into Fluncing Raptor gets the job done.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And
like this guy's better than the 3/1 green guy.
yeah, I played that. One, I got house by one in my first draft, and then I played one, and I was so used to the Brothers War.
Mm-hmm.
My opponent was like targeting it. I was like, oh, it has Ward 2. It does not have Ward 2.
Yeah, it does not have Ward 2. Oopsie.
It got Whispers of the Drost real hard.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you have like say 2 to 3 Dune Movers, you can probably cut a land.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, my Dune Mover is my third land if I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just like not an embarrassing like 2-1.
Yeah.
And like you said, especially like in a toxic deck where you're like, I just need as many things that say toxic on it as humanly possible to push through. So I will try the oil deck. I have not tried that. I will try to free up some time in my schedule, no problem, and get that done.
Yeah. I almost took more screenshots to send to you, but I didn't want to rub it in because I knew you said you weren't super thrilled with this set. And like I said, every other draft I've had has been abysmal, so it's only when that oil deck is open that I found success.
I have drafted a toxic deck the last... Oh, gosh, no. I drafted Proliferate, and then I've drafted Toxic every other draft.
Yeah.
I drafted White-Black, like mid-rangey Toxic, then White-Green with a little bit of black, and then White-Blue, where I just invented an archetype. I was just Blue-White Toxic, where I just had like 6 or 7 ways to give you a poison counter.
Yeah.
And then Proliferate it. And then, was that like, is that Blue-Green Toxic? Or is it supposed to be White-Green? I don't know. I might have mislabeled that one. But, yeah, I should probably play something different.
Yeah, we'll try out the oil deck. I've been having fun with it.
All right. And so now we wanted to go back and talk about some classic opens.
Yeah. Are there any memorable packs that you've cracked?
So, I'm old. So the like packs from high school, don't really like remember them. Yeah. And they were mainly to really get myself the occasional starter deck.
Yeah.
Not like I didn't buy like just a lot of random packs.
I did, except that the era that I was playing in, things tended to be overprinted.
Okay.
So when I was buying random packs, they were like discounted Fallen Empires, Homelands, Chronicles.
Nice.
Or like $1.50 a pack for Fallen Empires.
Yeah.
99 cents for Homelands.
It's probably still the going rate for both.
Probably, yeah.
You might open a Homerid.
Yeah.
So like nothing from like way back in the day that I can remember.
Do you like you weren't playing during Revised, right? So you never opened a duel?
No, never opened a duel.
My first starter deck had a plateau in it.
Ooh,
like the one that I learned how to play with had a plateau in it.
Nice. I not a memorable pull, but I really like the card Argivian Archaeologist.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an Argivian Archaeologist from Antiquities. No reason why I liked it. It wasn't particularly good. But when I was in college, there was this, I think I might have told this before, there was a shirt of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy from the Batman animated series at the local game store.
Mm-hmm.
I traded that Argivian Archaeologist for that shirt. I still have the shirt. I haven't worn it in years, but it's like somewhere in a drawer somewhere. I never got rid of it.
Yeah.
But I think Argivian Archaeologist is worth significantly more than a 20-year-old
100%
shirt. That was not good investing.
Yeah.
But again, like a million years ago, like no one thought that magic cards were worth anything.
Be a $40 magic card.
Yeah, like that just wasn't a thing that anyone thought was going to be a thing.
Yeah, or Lion's Eye Diamond. Like that is, I know I've said it a million times, but that is one thing that I do remember opening at a game store and being absolutely disappointed and just dropping my cards in the trash can because I opened a Lion's Eye Diamond.
So an Argivian Archaeologist right now, the market price is $279.
Yeah, worth a lot more than your Harley Quinn shirt, huh?
Yeah, not my finest moment.
Well, to be fair though, the Batman animated series was great.
It was. But also like Duel Lands were $20.
Right.
Right? So like you weren't like, oh, at no point did you ever think that Duel Lands were gonna be $600.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could not conceive of a magic deck being that expensive or a magic card being that expensive in 2001.
Well, so again, another story that I think I've told on the show before, but from when I was younger, that's kind of related, is in Syracuse, we had Carousel Mall was like the big mall in Syracuse at the end of Onondaga Lake. And one of the larger game stores in the area sometimes would hold events like in the basement of Carousel Mall. And the first one of those I went to, I remember talking to my opponent after one of the rounds. And, you know, I was just like a young kid. I was probably 13 or 14, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And my opponent was a little bit older than me. He was probably 17 or 18. And he was talking about how he had just sold off his Power 9 to get a car. And like at the time, I didn't know what Power 9 were. So I asked him and he's like, oh yeah, the Moxes, they were, I think I sold the whole Power 9 for like $2,000 and I bought a Honda Civic.
You can have a lot of Honda Civics now.
Yeah. I mean, what's the cheapest piece of power? $3,000? $2,000?
Mox Pearl. I feel like we've done this like experiment a few times here.
Yeah.
I think it's Mox Pearl.
I mean, it used to be Time Twister, but it's definitely not Time Twister anymore.
No, thanks, Commander.
Yep.
An unlimited Mox Pearl is 3,400.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more than a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
So not when I was an old timey person. Not when I was little, but more recently. So was it BFZ draft? So this is like a million years ago now, right? So we used to do signups, like sign up on a piece of paper for a draft, and then get our money, and they would call, and then we'd line up for packs.
Yep.
So every so often, Anthony thought it would be funny to like give the packs that were supposed to go to you to the person behind you.
Yeah. It's a very Anthony thing to do.
And so he gave the packs that should have been mine to Nick. And then we drafted, and Nick was right beside me.
Also right beside me.
And he opened his pack, and found an Expedition, Expedition Flooded Strand or Hollowed Fountain?
It was a hallowed fountain. Do you know how I know?
You have it?
No. We opened that pack at the same time, and I also pulled one. Me and Nick were sitting right next to each other and both opened an Expedition Hallowed Fountain.
That Hollowed Fountain was supposed to be mine. But Anthony was like, whoop! And then I did not get an Expedition Hollowed Fountain.
Yeah.
I remember I opened a foil Flooded Strand that I held on to for a while and then traded to Rowan for stuff.
Don't even know.
I forget. Don't even remember. It might have been like stupid stuff for like when I was like, I'll just play fish in Modern. Yeah. Or something. Fish in Modern. A simpler time.
See, I'm trying to think like anything else awesome that I've pulled.
I think you were here at the pre-release for this next one.
Okay.
I opened a Invention Crucible of Worlds.
Oh yeah.
Which then set me on the dark path of foiling out depths.
Yep.
Because I was like, I need a Crucible of Worlds. I did fine. So then I started on that whole thing because I opened. It was a pre-release. It was. I guess it would have been Aether Revolt. Would have been Crucible.
I think so.
And then there was another. Oh, here's when we can roast Anthony if he's listening. So we're driving up to I think Richmond.
Yep.
For Sealed, and we were like, it was for Amonkhet or Hour. Sealed.
Hour, I think.
And it was we were like, oh, what is the card you want to open in your field pool the most? I'm trying to remember what the card was. It's a black enchantment. It's like pay a black, sack a creature.
Yeah.
Kill your opponent's creature.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember the name of it. I want to say like an intent. That's not it.
See here. I know it's an enchantment.
Yeah.
Looking. Oh wait, no, not a creature. Crap, I still have the wrong
search criterias.
Yeah, I keep clicking. There we go. And then let's see here. Nope. But it was and I was like, oh yeah, that's like I totally want to open that. Like that card would be great.
Yeah.
And Anthony opened it.
Yeah, and then like didn't have it in his deck, right?
Didn't put it in his deck, yeah. And I was like, what? Well, what are you doing? Like, this was the card we were talking about.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, it was? I was like, yeah, it was. It was.
Attrition.
And so, attrition, yeah. I was like, yeah, like, I said, I want to open and he opened the attrition and then didn't play it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what? Why? This is it. All of your worst creature kills their best creature for the entire game.
Yep.
This is great. That was the so some old tournament Magic stories. So that was the event that I day 2'd, and I was playing this like it was like a red. It was a blue-white deck, I think. But I had I splashed like A for it. So it was a different, maybe I think of a different tournament. I had a deck where I had a random Samut, the red-green Samut with the white activation.
Yeah.
Just randomly in my deck. Like I only had like 2 ways to cast it. It was awful. But I somehow like did all right. But I don't remember if that was that event or another one.
Amonkhet. I guess I don't know which event was.
Yeah, but we had that was the one where I day two'd, and I was talking to my to people in my pod.
It had to be Amonkhet because that was the Gideon story, right? Was on day 2, Gideon the trials.
Oh no,
That was your pod.
That might have been the second draft, because that draft the 2 Gideons was I was in the same pod as Sam Pardee.
Yeah, but that's the one that you day 2'd, so that would have had to have been Amonkhet.
Yeah. And that was the one I think I took. That one had 2 approaches. I have the decks. I could go get the decks out. I have the decks. But I was thinking of, I was talking to my day 2 people in my first pod.
Yeah.
And was talking to the person you played like round 2.
Oh, yeah.
Who you were like in back-to-back games. This guy played like Glorybringer into Ronus, or Ronus into Glorybringer.
Well, it was like green trial, kill your thing, into Ronus, into Glorybringer.
And I was like, oh, like, because I recognized his name.
Yeah.
Because you'd said what his name was. It's like, oh, you played my buddy yesterday, and you went like Ronus into Glorybringer, back-to-back games.
Yeah.
He's like, that didn't happen. That I didn't do that like all day. And I was like, mm-hmm. So for those of you who do not have the joys of old school sealed events, so there was a well-known phenomenon in sealed events where people's sealed decks sometimes looked like constructed decks.
Yeah.
Because they just brought some cards from home.
Right.
And there was no way for, like, how can I explain this? You registered your pool, but like they usually had like 10 judges working a room of like 800 people.
Yeah. Or more.
The odds of you getting deck checked
very low.
Were like very low.
And especially in limited, like you don't maintain your deck through day 2 where there's less players.
Yeah.
So there's no way to like go back and check your deck.
Yeah, so many times people would just like slide some extra cards in that they brought from home.
Yeah.
And so I often wonder if this person, whose name escapes me, so I don't have to say allegedly,
right.
Makes me wonder if this person may have had a slightly better pool than they would have been given to register.
Yeah.
Because we went through...
Glorybringer and Ronus are both like the best cards you could open.
Yeah, like Glorybringer was like the best rare, should have been a mythic.
Yeah.
And Ronus is a hell of a card to pair with it.
Right.
So yeah, that was just like, they were like, That was also where I beat someone, and I was like, I beat a pro, and he was like, good game. I was like, oh, good game. He's like, it was not. And I was like, okay.
Thanks.
It's like, what would you have liked me to say to you after this?
I was looking for
a pleasantry. I came to this one, and you're like, it was not. I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe that should be the way we sign off the show from now on. And that was magic.
That was magic, yeah. But like, he was a pro, and like I played around something, and I think it ticked him off at one point.
Yeah.
And then like he was trying to like rules lawyer me.
Yeah.
Because that was when we had the aftermath cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the white one that made creatures, and then the black one you aftermath it and you set creatures to kill something.
Yeah.
And I like took the card and I like turned it sideways and put it at the bottom of my like graveyard, you know, because it's exiled now.
Mm-hmm.
And he like was complaining that I needed to move it, and I was like, I turned it sideways and put it here. Where would you like me to put it? Where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
And he just like dropped it. I'm like, dude, like stop. Like, gosh, I can't remember his name. Gosh, what French guy, kind of a douche.
That narrows it down.
It really narrows it down.
French guys.
Our huge French contingent. Stupid American. Oh god, what was his name? But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
So good times. Uh, also, also was like all these people like were like, oh man, they're so famous in Magic. Cannot remember his name. He won a pro tour. No clue who he
Well,
is.
also, like, all of these people that were so famous in Magic, like, don't mean anything anymore because there's no like pro anything anymore.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, there's a Pioneer Pro Tour this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magic 30.
Yep.
Um, so have the good sealed pool, and then have the it might have been Aether Revolt. It was either Kaladesh or Aether Revolt.
Mhm.
Anthony and I practiced a whole bunch. I felt really prepared. Show up, and the best rare in my pool was Kumbal.
Oh.
I just remember being crushed.
Yeah.
I like just kept going. I was like, there's gotta be something. Come on, like what Metalwork Marvel or whatever, the 5 mana like bad energy Aetherling.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, come on. And it was just like Kumbal. And I was like, I can't with this. This is awful.
That was the one that you guys like proxied seal pools for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys put a lot of work into that.
And then like I just opened like a C- sealed pool.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not good enough to get a C- sealed pool today too.
Yeah.
So like I needed you to be like a B. If you were a B sealed pool, I felt pretty good.
Do you remember?
But my sealed pool was awful.
Do you remember Chase's deck for that tournament?
Didn't he have Mana Crypt and something else?
Chandra.
Oh yeah, Mana Crypt and Chandra. Yeah.
Like the round after I scrubbed out, I went over to find Chase and was watching him play, and like he has to be the luckiest person on the planet. Like that's just kind of Chase's MO, like to begin with. And I remember watching one of his games, and he was dead on board to his Mana Crypt for 7 turns in a row and never lost a coin flip and won the game.
I remember that he like specifically told a judge because they were in time.
Yeah.
And he was flipping a coin. He was like, yeah, I have a Mana Crypt. Like I'm not flipping the coin to like decide the winner.
Right.
I have a Mana Crypt. I have to flip a coin.
Yeah.
That was the one where like Cameron got a sculpting steel. Not exactly a fire open there.
Right.
What other? Oh gosh, it's so bad. Like I'm forgetting people's names. Like I can tell you, I do this with students too. Like I can tell you like where people are from, like about them and stuff. Can't remember the name.
I mean, I can tell you all about people's cars that I've never met. Like I remember the cars.
Gosh, his brother was like a really good Magic player from Baltimore.
Brandon?
Yes, there we go. See, we got there. Remember we did the like sealed league for like Shadows over Innistrad, or it was like every Sunday you got like 6 packs, and then every week you got like an extra pack.
Yeah.
I stopped going because his deck, maybe I kept going, but his deck was basically a human precon deck, and the rest of us were playing like sealed. Like his 6 packs were just like the best 6 packs you could open.
Yeah.
And like the rest, like, none of us could beat him the whole season. Like I was like, oh, why are we even bothering? There was Rise of the Eldrazi. This was also a sealed event. I didn't do well at sealed GP. My opponent sits down and has the Desolation Twin token on top of their stuff, and I was like, okay. Like I don't think I can beat a Desolation Twin, but fine. Desolation Twin was like 10 mana for like an 8/8 that like had a cast trigger of like make it an 8/8.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah. And so like my opponent taps a bunch of mana, and I'm like, okay, I can I can beat this Desolation Twin, maybe. And it was an Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Desolation Twin, 10 mana, 10/10. That when you cast it, makes a 10/10. And I was like, I don't think I can beat two 10/10s. But then I got Ulamog. I was like, I know I can't beat that.
It didn't matter.
I was like, come on, Desolation
story.
Twin. Okay.
I don't know, like back when we first started going to tournaments, it was the first tournament that like the old school artists were back on tour for.
Okay.
So like Dan Frazier and Doug Schuler and
Jesper
was there.
Was that DC? In like the abandoned lows?
No, it was before then. I don't remember where it was. But I remember when I was a kid, I was just talking about the basement at Carousel Mall. When I was a kid, they had an artist come around. They did like an artist tour then also. And it was the same artists. It was Doug Schuler, Dan Frazier, Mark Poole, like all those iconic old school guys. And I remember waiting in line to get cards signed. And I got a Demonic Tutor signed. I got Mahomati Jin signed.
Okay.
And I don't remember what else. There was something else I got signed too. But when I knew Doug Schuler and Dan Frazier and all them were going to be at whatever tournament this was, I brought those old cards with me. And I think that was right after I had bought my my Beta Basics.
Okay.
So I went to this tournament with all my stack of Beta Basics to get them all signed. And I brought the cards that I had signed like 15 years ago at the time when I was a kid to get signed too. And when I got up to Doug Schuler, I said, you know, I would like you to sign my mountains for me. And also, I just wanted to show you this. And I handed him the Demonic Tutor, and he looked at it and, you know, didn't think anything of it, obviously. It's just like an old beat-up revised Demonic Tutor with a scribble on it. But I said, I wanted to let you know that when I was, you know, a kid back in whatever it was, 1996 or 1997, you came to Syracuse, New York, and did a card signing in the basement of the mall, and I had like all these cards signed, and this was one of them. And he goes, oh, I remember that. There was a huge snowstorm, and we were supposed to go like somewhere else afterwards, and it was just crazy that he remembered like that event that like he signed my Demonic Tutor at. So that was pretty cool.
I bought I had that Rick and Morty print from RK Post. And like he had no idea who I was, but like a few events later I was like, hey man, I bought that print from you a while back. I said, all my students now think I'm super cool, so thank you. I have multiple. Oh, you like Rick and Morty? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, oh, cool. But yeah, so all my students are like, really like your print. So
excellent.
So there was the time I was with Anthony. We're at the SCG event, and Ben Stark was there, and I was like, oh, hello, Mr. Stark. And like talked to him and said hi or whatever, right? And Anthony was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just went up and talked to him." I said, "He's lucky to talk to me. I'm a learned doctor."
That's right.
Yeah. So, but I have somewhere. It's in my house somewhere. A signed zombie token from Mengu.
Oh yeah.
From GP Oko or Pro Tour Oko.
Yep.
Both, yeah. One of our last events.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer event to go out on. I mean, that was right before the Dumpster Fire Open, which was our last
we went
event.
we went out on the Dumpster Fire Open. That was the one to not go out on.
Yeah.
Dear gosh.
I think the first big event that I went to, I'm sure that like you were there. I don't know if I super knew you well though at that point. Was a modern, it had to be a GP in Charlotte. and I roomed with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, after day one, we walked down the street to the Carolina Roadhouse or whatever was right on the corner there. And we sat down to get a couple of beers and some chicken wings or whatever and decompress and talk about our day like you do at a big event. And at the table next to us, well, tables next to us, it was like all grinders. So it was like LSV was there and BBD was there, and like all these huge names in Magic were just like sitting at the table next to us. And me and Nick, like, super scrubbed out of day one, we were bad. So, you know, we're talking about all our like awful stories about how we played terribly, and like we're sitting right next to LSV. That was kind of weird. Like, I think I have a picture on my phone of me like trying to sneak a picture of him.
Simpler times.
I think what made it even funnier was like that was legitimately my first big event. So I remember talking to Nick about like, oh, you know, it would be cool if like I saw Reed Duke here or whatever. Like that'd be super cool if like I saw Reed Duke. And Nick's like, yeah, I think LSV is my favorite player. Like that we had that conversation on the way to the event, and then like at dinner that night.
Captain America and LSV just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
man.
was
funny. Trying to think of any other like wild things I'd opened that I was like, oh yeah.
Like back when they were worth something, I opened like on two separate occasions. I opened like the Chase Mythic as a foil. I opened Ugin.
Oh.
Foil Ugin. And I opened a foil Kozilek.
I opened a foil Ren and 6 and sold it to you.
Yes, thank you very much. I still have
it. I sold it for like $80.
Yeah.
And it got up to like 200 and something.
And it got up to over 300 for a little while.
Yeah.
I did not sell it. I still have it. I mean, you were going to sell it for $80 anyway. It's better that I bought it than like some random shop.
Random store got it, yeah. Well, heck, the Modern Horizons printing is still $50 for the regular one.
Yeah.
Which is wild. The Double Masters version is $140.
Wow.
Like the full art version.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's some weird printing I've never seen from Double Masters. It's Double Masters foil. Maybe it's the foil. I don't know. It's hard. There's so many now. There was a oh gosh, what was it? Is this the foil? There was a cardboard crack comic where someone's like, oh hey, I forget what the card was. Elishnorn.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, what version? And then the shopkeep runs through like every version that he has. Like, I just want the regular non-foil one. And the shopkeep goes, that's the one I don't have. God, I hate my life.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I got this one and this one and this one. No, I just want the regular one. It's like, no.
Yeah, when they first started doing like all these extra treatments and list cards and whatever, I remember sitting next to Anthony when he was trying to catalog like the 10 boxes or whatever he opened to have for inventory. And he's like, I don't even know what to do with all these cards. Like, I have no clue how I'm supposed to inventory this.
Oh, the market price on the foil is $165 and falling.
Yeah. Like they'll the rest of my collection, probably.
What, you mean and falling?
And falling, yeah.
Yeah. I need to get rid of some stuff. Yeah, but the foil Ren 6, I bought a box of Modern Horizons to build seals with before that event.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in there.
Yep.
That was the time I traded a bunch of stuff and got Grim Monoliths.
Yep. Yeah,
that worked out.
The Ren was supposed to turn into a Grim Monolith. or turn into
Yeah.
part of one.
Yeah. That worked out though.
Yeah.
I have so many random reserve list cards. Go. Cool. Grim Monolith, $215.
There you go.
That's for a light played one. You get a foil Grim Monolith or $2,300.
Oof. That's a piece of power right there.
Yeah, that is a powerful monolith.
Yep. So you got any more stories, or are we gonna let you start?
I'm
grading?
trying to think. Like, I know, like, I've opened Gaia's Cradles and Tolarian Academies and stuff like back in the day, but they like I don't remember, and they were like $10.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and I think that like just the like, so I was talking about how like my wife got me a box of set boosters.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the pre-show, I think.
Yeah, and like even opening it, like even kind of the like the kind of chase cards from it aren't like worth that much.
Yeah.
Like I guess a Mondrak is $34, but that's on a that's kind of leveled out some, but that's like on the way down. Like how much is that going to be worth in a few weeks?
A Rot Priest once he gets banned.
Yeah, like I have a Rot Priest. Those are $13 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the pools, like I think like the stuff like that, you know, it's harder. I think it's harder now to have like the like, ooh, I opened something cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not gonna have as much, ooh, I opened something of like monetary value anymore. And like the cool cards aren't that cool because there's so many of them in terms of like treatments. So like, are we losing that like memorable open?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, part of the problem is there's not really chase cards anymore either. Like, what was the last set where like there was actually a chase card?
I think the problem is like standard's not as important.
Yeah.
And like now the chase cards are commander cards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. The last set where I can think of like a chase card was like the first Commander Legends where people were like opening cases to get the Jeweled Lotus or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the last chase card that I can think of.
Yeah, so like I don't know.
Or I guess like Modern Horizons 2 with Force of Negation.
The old border one?
Yeah. That's what people were hoping to open. The card not even in the set.
Card not even in the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think some of that is gone now, right? Like like, oh man, I opened super cool thing and it's like, it's not that super cool. Or like there's 4 different versions that are cooler than it. It's like, oh.
Well, so yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it, but like we might be a little jaded now also.
Yeah, we are pretty old. And grumpy.
Like I know like not only has the way that I engage with the game changed a lot, but also my disposable income has changed a lot from 7 or 8 years ago or whatever. Like if there's something I like really wanted, I'd like just buy it instead of like hoping to open it in a pack on pre-release or whatever. You know what I mean?
I am similar.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm kind of to the point where like there are so few cards that I actually want.
Yeah.
That it's like it makes more sense a lot of times for me to just buy the card than it does to like run out and like buy a bunch of cards.
But I remember like back when I first got back into the game, M14 was like recent. And a lot of decks needed Mutavaults. Most of the standard decks needed Mutavaults. And they were I forget, $25 or $30 at the time, and just like there weren't any available because people were playing them in Modern, people were playing them in other formats, and there just weren't enough of them to go around. So like the price was kind of irrelevant because you just couldn't find them. And I remember I had a lot less disposable income then, but also like my income stream was a little bit different, and it was easier for me to like buy a pack like randomly a couple nights a week or whatever than it was for me to like buy a booster box once a month or once a set release or whatever. So I remember like not scraping change together, but you know, buying a pack and like hoping to open a Mutavault, or like having saved up enough for a Mutavault but can't find one. So Anthony would start cracking packs out of a box until he opened a Mutavault, like just to sell me the Mutavault. I think things are different now.
Yeah. I don't think that like you could. I remember them just like cracking packs just to like crack packs because on board I'm going to open a pack.
Yeah.
That does not seem financially wise anymore.
No, not when you're losing your shirt on every pack. Like, and like that's part of the problem is Wizards has sucked all the profit out of booster packs too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you used to be able to, you know, a booster box was $100, and like that was not a great deal for a booster box because the store was only paying $55 or $60 for a box. Now a booster box like cost is $90, and they're selling it to you for $120, and like hoping they don't get fleeced. You know what I mean? Like opening a box for singles at $90 a box is not profitable for a store.
Or oh gosh, and then you have the what's it called? Gosh, like, and then they sell to you for $120.
Yeah,
but now they're gonna sell it. But like, you can get on eBay for not eBay, Amazon for $85 or whatever.
Yeah. And like those numbers might be completely wrong. It's been a while since I was at our LGS.
Yeah. The like Phyrexia All We Won, like I have like the price up for like the whole set or whatever.
Still pretty high.
$524.
Wow. Does it have a EV calculation there?
I have the prices. I don't know where the EV calculator is anymore. This is bad. Tools. I guess I don't know where the EV calculator is.
It used to be. Let me see if I can find it.
What do people want?
Yeah.
Clicking on the interject.
Click. I'm gonna lose the.
Here you go.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna lose the stream if I do that.
Here you go. I found it. They don't have it up yet. Like there's not enough data. Oh gosh, they don't have EVs up for any. Like the first set they have an EV for is Midnight Hunt.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, the EV on Midnight Hunt is
decidedly not great, huh?
A set. Wow. Retail for a set booster is $110.
Ooh.
The EV on a set booster box is $79.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a rough time.
Yeah.
Retail for a collector booster box is $216. EV is $141.
Yikes.
And no bueno. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard because like I don't remember. Like I've opened so many packs, and like it had to be something really big.
Yeah.
I opened an Ugin in Fate Reforged Sealed at the pre-release.
It was probably an easy win, huh?
My entire deck was don't die until I draw Ugin. How are you winning? I'm going to draw this Ugin.
Yep.
It's somewhere in here.
Yep.
This is good times. All
I
right.
think like one of my best sealed pools was also Fate Reforged, and it had a Whisperwood elemental in it.
Oh God.
And like that card's pretty nuts and limited.
It is very, very good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like that card was like a like big player in a standard format.
Yeah.
Don't know if it would get played today.
Probably not.
Would have to like ETB and like give you.
It'd be
thing.
an uncommon, not a mythic.
Oh, the current one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like at the end of turn, I get value. No.
Can't have that. Gotta
Has to say can't be has to say can't be countered. Okay, their EV calculator is weird because it's missing so much stuff. It must be broken or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like it has like EV for like Midnight Hunt to Strixhaven,
yeah,
and then no EVs after that. They're all just blank. Hey, but a booster box of Dissension retails at $935.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, a booster pack is $30. There you go. How much is my unopened Kamigawa collector booster? $25 and going down. No.
That's not where you want to be.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's free, so I can't argue.
Yeah.
All right. So with all that, I think we have a show.
Yeah, I think we got a show. We'll let you get to your grading. I know you got a bunch of work to do. So
it's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, grade.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you want to get at us and again give us more show ideas and stuff like that, you can find us on social media. All those links are in the description. So go please check us out and say hi.
Yeah, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. If you're looking to support the show, 2 ways to do it. First is with our TCG Player affiliate link. If you're looking to pick up any singles from this set or any other set, TCG Player, because it's a marketplace, has some of the best prices around. Everyone's competing for your business. So get some great deals and help support the show at the same time. Use our affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. If you want to support us directly, you can throw money at us at patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. Yeah, just like that. However much you feel we're worth, you can give to us. In return, you get access to our show notes. You get access to more of us in the form of our pre-show. And you get put on my mailing list for when I have cool swag to send out, which should be within the next month or so. So head on over there and check it out and help support the show. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
What we're going to end the show with? It's magical. That was magical.
Yeah. And with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internet.
That was magical.
That was magical.